Welcome back to another Hots or Nots for Empire, and this time it's for both E2 and E3 of 2024, so grab yourself a little snack and a beverage, and let's jump into it. So if this is the first time you're seeing one of my Hots or Nots, hi, I'm Rianne. I've been doing Larp for almost a year now, so I'm still fairly fresh, and what I like to do is go over 3 categories of Hots or Nots from my experience at Empire over here in the UK, and that is for kit, for camping gear, and then for specifically the game itself. So if you just want to know more about Empire or LARPing in the UK in general, or perhaps you want to kind of upgrade your LARPing gear and want to listen to some recommendations, then stick around because I'm going to be going through some of my favourites and some of my not so favourites for both E2 and E3 this year. So let's start with the kit, the HOTS. I'm going to start off with a new dress that I bought for my character Celine, and that is the Holy Clothing Demeter dress in black. I will put some pictures up if I haven't already over me talking. I've bought from Holy Clothing before. I'm not sponsored, I'm not affiliated, don't worry, I get no money from doing this. But I really enjoy wearing a lot of Holy Clothing stuff, and I have done for a long time, whether it be sort of cosplaying or now LARPing. The wear on them is really good. The fit is generally pretty good. What I will say is that with this particular dress I have broader shoulders. I got a small and they didn't kind of hang down off my shoulders as much as I wanted them to, but it wasn't the end of the world. The other thing I would say is that the belt loops, actually both of them ended up being pulled off by the end of the event, but that was because I stood on my dress and I lifted up my arms and they went pop. So as long as you don't tie it too tightly and step on your dress, you are fine. But otherwise, I think they're a really decent place to get kit from. Just be careful if you do get any of them. I believe they're hand dyed. So if you do go ahead and put them in the washing machine, put it in by itself or use a colour catcher because the dye can bleed into other clothes. The second hot that I have, I already mentioned this brand in my previous video. It is Snazaroo. They are a brand of face paints over here. This is the gold one. I tried the gold for the first time because I wanted to implement more gold into my character design for this event, for E3 specifically. It was actually pretty good. It's not as well, it is pigmented, but it didn't show up as much as I wanted it to, but I think that's probably because it is a metallic paint. And I'm also very fair skinned, so typically like yellows and metallic-y tones don't show up on my skin as well, but it was very good. It definitely added that pop of magic that I wanted to my face paint. I wear black and gold, so yeah, if you're looking for a metallic face paint, I can also recommend Snazaroo brand for metallic as well as mattes. The last hot that I have is actually a piece that I've had for many years now, but I wanted to incorporate it in my LARP gear because I've only used it for sort of like personal fantasy photo shoots, and that is this tiara from Serendipity London. As far as I'm aware, they're an independent brand. This I got actually discounted because they were on the convention floor. And it was many years ago, but I do believe their stuff is, a little bit more on the pricey side, but if you're looking for that sort of show-stoppy wow piece of sort of head jewellery, I do recommend them. I think they're very good. I have 2. I bought myself another one last year, I think, again during the convention floor, I think it was Comic-Con. But yeah, you can check out their stuff if you want. You wear it like a little tiara. I didn't do that because I'm not Dornish. No offense to my Dornish friends. Love you. This feels very Dornish though, the tiara. So yeah, if you're looking for a pop of fancy jewellery that kind of isn't too, I don't know, plasticky or, diamondied up to the eyeballs, this does sort of like a more rustic, organic, natural looking headbands, which I think fits in quite nicely with the sort of fantasy tone that Empire has, so yeah, I highly recommend giving them a little look. I actually don't have any knots because I feel like very confident in my gear currently, in my kit. I made a couple of these upgrades and I added some of my own personal accessories, and I feel like I'm at a place now where I'm very happy where my kit is, so no knots for kit, but we will go into camping and we will start with the knots for camping. So if you watched my E1 video, you will know that we had horrific rain, and I spoke about the fact that it flooded the tent and that, you know, I expected it was probably a user error. Maybe it was just me. I'm bad at camping, I'm bad at putting up tents. But E2 came around, and so did the sequel to The Rain. It wasn't as bad, but it actually was bad enough that the tent leaked again, so I am going to name and shame the tent. Maybe it is still a user error, but I feel like at this point I've tried it 3 times now at 3 different events, and 2 out of those 3 events it either flooded, or at E2 it actually collapsed and one of the poles inside the tent cracked. We didn't realise that until we decided to take it, or we took it down on the Sunday. So the Eurohiker Sendero 6-man tent I can't honestly recommend, because I've had so many problems with it. Maybe it is just a beginner issue, so maybe if you're out there and you've not got a lot of experience in camping, or maybe you're looking at doing Larp for the first time and you're not a tent or camping person, I would not recommend this, at least for a starter tent. I don't know if someone else in the comments might have better experience using the Sendero or the Eurohiker brand, but it was just a no from me. I had so many problems with it, so now it's in a bag in the back garden. I will likely throw it away. Which segues us nicely to the HOTS, where we're going to talk about a tent that I really did enjoy, and that was a rental. So we decided to treat ourselves and try out a rental tent from Rent Bell Tents here in the UK. Again, not affiliated, not sponsored. So we ended up renting their 4-meter furnished tent, bell tent, that came with 2 camping beds, 2 singles. You can get just a pitch, so like just the 4-meter tent, and bring your own stuff if you don't want to pay extra for the camping beds. You can also upgrade to have like mattresses and everything else that you'd like in there, so it's quite glamping. It's borderline glamping, I would say. Personally, I will never go back to bringing my own tent again. Hello there. It is about 7:15 on the Friday morning. It is time to head to Empire. I am exceptionally excited because I don't have to carry a tent through London. But I'm also exceptionally excited because hopefully waiting for us at the campsite is a lovely, amazing, beautifully stunning setup bell tent. And I'm really hoping that this works out really well. I've heard nothing but good things, because this is such a game changer for somebody who lives in central London and uses public transport and doesn't have a car. So I really hope that when I get there I'll be able to show you an amazing tent that's set up for us. So I will see you at the campsite in the Wintermark IC camping. Hey, so this is Rebecca.
Hello.
She is playing a Navari medic.
You forgot my name then, didn't you?
No, I'm thinking of your role, not your name. You're Marion, you're playing Marion.
I'm playing Marion. I am a Navari physic and a vine.
So we have just arrived at the tent. I'm actually really happy.
It's very nice.
It's really good. So it's just a 4-meter by 4-meter. It has the 2 camp beds. It's got a rug, a table, and it came with like a little lamp as well, which actually I didn't think it. I know it said fairy lights.
Yeah.
But maybe that's the lamp.
I reckon they have a lot of tents, so there's way too many fairy lights. But lamp is good.
Lamp is good.
Lamp is good.
Lamp is good.
That's what you have me here for, these great insights. Lamp is good.
Lamp is good. Ship it. Get it on a t-shirt. It's. I mean, there's like. If you want to be super nitpicky, there's like scuffs, but it's just wear and tear. Like it's not dirty at all. Yeah. There's loads of ventilation. Everything is super sturdy. It's not rained so far, so we can't really comment on.
Well, so it did rain quite badly last night, and it's dry in here now, so
very true.
Seems to be all right.
We even got a little welcome mat, which is very cute. So yeah, we're gonna go set up and sprinkle a little magic in here and see if we can maybe make it a bit more ooky spooky in a way.
Yeah, see if we can put together a little RP area with some bodged together hangings. We'll see how that goes.
We'll find out. So we'll see you in a little bit.
A little butterfly has appeared in the tent. Oh.
Nope.
Nope, it's still there. We're taking it as a good omen. Hello. We are just about awake. We got to bed
A little after time out. So yeah, probably about 1:30 to 2 by the time we've faffed around setting the bed up. Because leaving setting your bed up until you go to bed is a bad idea. Do it earlier in the day.
Speaking of which, first night impressions in the tent. I think we kind of struggled a little bit, but we were just talking about, we think that's more about the cold than anything else, because it's
Yeah.
really, really cold.
Yeah, so we haven't really prepped the beds for the temperature. But in terms of it being kind of comfy and dry, really, really nice. But yeah, I might try next time with the shove everything you own under the bed technique and see how that helps.
Yeah, I think because this is the first time I've been on a camping bed. Didn't know what to expect. It is quite hard. I'm a soft mattress kind of girly, so I do struggle. But honestly, I think for next time, put layers on top, or
So many layers.
or probably more pillows, because I kind of like raw dogged it with one of the seat, like the floor pillows that we bought, because I just wanted to pack light. But honestly, it's lovely to wake up to a nice, light, airy, dry tent for once.
Makes such a difference.
So I give this an 8 out of 10 experience for the first night.
Yeah. And the other two appears to be you, Sarah. So we'll see how that goes tomorrow.
So now we are going to get up and shower and
put our makeup on.
yeah. We'll see you later.
So yeah, if it wasn't clear enough, I can't recommend this enough. The tent was great, no problems. The fact that it's there before you even arrive and it's taken down after you leave, there's no mess, there's no worry. You know, I live in London currently and we have to take public transport to get to the event, you know, tube stations, then trains. So carrying a tent around in the underground is really not fun, to say the least. So having that peace of mind that it's there and sorted for you and you don't have to carry it around and rely on sort of taxis or other people to help you up and down through the stations, I will never be going back. We've already rented another tent from them ready for E4 this year, so if you're looking for a tent rental, I can't recommend them enough. We will end on a final hot for camping, and that is this particular wonderful piece of fabric with foam inside. It's a sleeping mask, and I know it sounds very basic, but first of all, if you don't have a sleeping mask and you're camping for Larp, I highly recommend getting a sleeping mask anyway, and if you're in the market for getting one or looking for a new one, I definitely recommend this one. This is the Alaska Bear sleeping mask. I got this off Amazon last year. It's silky, so it doesn't irritate your skin, so I've got like kind of sensitive skin / my skin breaks out very easily, so it's never broken me out. It also has adjustable strap, but it also has my favourite part, which is like these divots, these pockets in the eye mask itself. So instead of a traditional eye mask where it feels like it puts pressure on your eyes, these divots make that so you have space, your eyeballs have space, so it's not putting any pressure on your eyeballs. It's far more comfortable, especially if you have things like lash extensions, for instance. These are probably going to be more preferable because it doesn't irritate and push up against your lashes or your eyes as heavily as a normal sleeping mask. So if you're looking for something that is all of that I've just mentioned, then I also recommend getting this. Lastly, let's talk about the game. Now, if you've never been to Empire before, or you've never watched one of my videos before, typically I try not to spoil specific plot lines in Empire currently. I will talk sort of loosely about things that are happening and sort of highlight some really fun moments for me in particular, but I'll try and not mention particular character names unless I feel comfortable doing so, or kind of exposing a lot of what I would class as sort of spoilers for plot. So people can choose whether or not to engage with that at their own pace rather than be spoiled by me telling them everything on this video. So we're going to start with Astromancy. Now, I think I mentioned in E1 that I really enjoyed the Astromancy game, and so far through this year, the Astromancy game has really picked up and it's been really enjoyable. So again, if you're new, or perhaps you've not heard of Astromancy in the Empire system before, Astromancy is basically like a flavour of magic, right? You choose what kind of magic that you're proficient in, so for me it's Night Law, and then you can choose how to present that. For me it's Astromancy, so working with the constellations and the stars and all the night sky kind of vibe. There are particular plots that are currently ongoing to do with constellations in the Empire and Astromancy, which again I won't spoil, but it has picked up a lot of pace and it is very, very fun. One specific thing that I will mention is there was a conjunction on the Friday night. If you're not familiar with conjunctions, it's basically like a group outing beyond the gate to go do something fun, where basically we travel to a specific place, and there was a specific constellation that this event was tied to, and we found something else out during that interaction with a different constellation that caused a little bit of drama. People were cursed. It was a whole thing, but luckily I think everyone was okay by the end of the event, and it provided a lot of really fun role-playing opportunities, as well as just kind of diving further into the Astromancy game and lore that Empire has to offer. I will give a very specific shout out to one person in particular. I don't know their name out of character, but they were part of the Empire crew who played an NPC, a specific NPC in this conjunction, and I had a very, you know, raw heart-to-heart with them to try and help them in this particular event and achieve what we wanted to achieve in this conjunction. I, as playing as Celine, had a very emotional conversation with them where I was able to kind of share some like grief experiences with grief with them as part of that interaction to try and like succeed at this conjunction. So I don't know if they watch this, but if they do, I just want to say thank you very much for that piece of roleplay, because it was very cathartic and it was quite deep, and yeah, it was very enjoyable. Now, onto the knots. One thing I also try and avoid to do while I'm doing these hots and knots is I don't want to sit here and sound like I'm bashing the event, because I love it very, very much. I come from a place of wanting to see this event improve, so we're going with a lens of you know, constructive criticism and feedback, less so sort of like bashing and, you know, saying this is terrible and da 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 da. So with that lens, I do want to kind of point out one knot that I saw throughout the event, unfortunately. This could just be due to the fact that this event has gotten so big, even through the almost 1 year now that I've been here, which isn't a long time compared to a lot of people playing this system. Even in this 1 year, I've noticed that there's been a huge increase of people joining and obviously wanting to give it a go, which is wonderful and fantastic, because I recommend it highly to anybody who wants to. But it seemed like specifically organising these conjunctions and the battles got a bit hairy at times. So a couple specific examples of this would be that conjunction that I went to on Friday night. There was a very limited amount of space to go, and a lot of people wanted to go. I think the max capacity was about 50 people. So at first they were calling out, you know, all the astronomancers, please stand at the front because we want to make sure you're in here, because it was an astronomancy focused piece of roleplay, so it made more sense that astronomancers get through first. And then the person in character who was running this had a few other people who weren't astronomancers who had come up to them previously and gone, I'd really like to go on this, and he said yes, you can join. It got super messy. People were kind of crowding round. At one point they suddenly went, oh well, everyone needs to be in lines of 5, and I tried getting a line of 5, but people weren't moving out the way, so people who weren't astronomancers weren't making room for the astronomancers who needed to go in first and make lines of 5, so it was just really chaotic, unfortunately, and that did lead to some people not getting to go through the gate, which I think was very disappointing for them. I want to make an emphasis here, this is not a failure on the in-character person who ran this event in character, I'd say this more lies at the feet of official staff at the event, trying to sort of manage crowds. So it's less about one person in character saying yes to too many people, but more about the sort of actual physical organisation of things. Because you do have to take it apart every now and again and go, look, even though this is in character, this is still a very large festival of sorts. We need critical management. We need core management to kind of be in charge here, because it can't just be left to one person who's also paid for a ticket to come here and be their character, and they haven't come here to organise the event, they've come here to play a part and be a character. The battles, I heard one battle in particular. Unfortunately, there was some frontline medics who could not go through the portal during a big battle for one of the nations, because other people just kind of went into the gate. Now, I will stress that I am unsure if that was intentionally in character to spark conflict between these nations, or whether this was, again, just kind of lacking in the crowd management side of things. Editing Rianne here. I waffled quite a bit, but essentially just wanted to say that even if it was in character, it wasn't clear that it was in character or not. So either way, there were a lot of people coming up to me, having conversations with me, telling me about this scenario of frontline medics not being able to go through the gate because people pushed in, but they weren't sure whether that was just somebody let them in by accident and they shouldn't have gone in, and there was big consequences to that, and it was unsure if that was in character or not. So yeah, sorry, clarification, as you were, present day Rianne. But either way, that just seemed like there was a pattern of that throughout the event, and not to mention as well that there was one particular battle where unfortunately a few people were a little bit crushed, where refs really should have let people have more breathing room, because physically actually being crushed, not just role-playing being crushed, but people were actually being like, hey, this is too much now, you need to give me space. Again, I don't want that to come across like I am bashing PD at all. I think it's still an incredible event, and sometimes things just happen that could be improved, and I just think that in this occasion at E3, this was one of these things, was just management of crowds, and yeah, that's all it was. Good news is, you know, I think there's a lot of learning from stuff like this, and I'd be very surprised if that happened again. Of course, accidents do happen and oversights happen with an event this large. So yeah, we'll look forward to E4, and hopefully stuff like that will be nipped in the bud. But that was my only knot of the entire E2, E3 event, bar the rain. People are sick of hearing about the rain during E1 and E2 this year at Empire, I think. So we get it. It was rainy. It sucks. It's England. Yeah, that was it. That was all of my hots and nots for both E2 and E3 of Empire 2024. If you want to hear more Empire content, then please feel free to stick around. I also make game development content because I'm a game developer, and just nerdy content in general. So yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day, and if I don't see you at Anvil, I'll see you in my next video. Bye!